Hello and welcome. I wanted to talk about CrossFit this time. I see that a lot of people make fun of it, some people just outright hate it, and I can see why. As someone who did CrossFit for a while, I can understand why some people actually either make fun of it or hate it. And I think it has a lot to do with not only the workout routines but the exercises themselves. You have a lot of they incorporate a lot of powerlifting, a lot of Olympic weightlifting. You start doing power snatches or whatever they're called. I forgot. I don't remember all the names. And the idea is to do as many reps usually as fast as possible just to get to the next exercise and do it before the time ends. So that creates a problem because these exercises, these moves, they're very technical, and if you start doing those in a rush just to get it done, there's a high risk of injury doing these exercises, these moves as fast as possible. So you have to do some, I don't know, 10 snatches, and then you have to run to the pull-up bar, and then you have to do 12 pull-ups as fast as possible. And everything you're doing, you're pretty much rushing it, and rushing exercises can lead to injuries. And I think that's probably one of the main reasons people either make fun of it or hate it, especially when you're starting to do these moves. The faster you do it, technique goes out the window, and again that creates a high risk of injury. So I can tell, as someone I did CrossFit, and there were a lot of things that I did that I wouldn't do again. So I don't think I will be going to. I don't think I'll be going back to CrossFit anytime soon, if I ever do. So there are good things too. There are good things too, and it pushes you to your limits. You start doing things that you never thought you'd be able to do. You do develop some cardio, strength, so you'll be able to do things you never thought you would be able to do. It does push you to your limits sometimes, and sometimes pushing you to those limits doing this kind of exercises is really dangerous, especially if you don't have the technique down. So the workouts are usually never boring. It's unlikely that you will find a boring workout. Usually, I mean, it obviously depends on people, what they like to do, what they're better at doing. For me, I rarely would find the workouts to be boring. The problem, like I said, was the type of exercises and how they would implement that. Sometimes the warm-up didn't really warm you up. Sometimes they were rushing it. They had to get the class done. They had to start the class because they needed to finish before a certain time. So sometimes we'll be rushing more than usual. The warm-up was not really very good sometimes. And again, that if you don't warm up for the exercises that you're gonna be doing, especially these intricate moves like snatches, and it creates a lot of problems. And I can see why some people hate it, or just don't like it, or make fun of it. I see a lot of people making fun of the keeping pull-ups, when you just do whatever it takes basically to get your chin over the bar. I wouldn't recommend it. I think that if you're doing pull-ups, you should do strict pull-ups, do it right, and maybe if you're gonna do keeping pull-ups, just keep it to a minimum. Uh, I would say 2 or 3, just because you want to finish the set. That's my opinion. If you can stick to strict pull-ups, that would be the best thing to do. If you're gonna be doing intricate moves like the snatches or squat snatches or any of that, make sure you warm up, make sure you learn the moves, make sure you get the technique down before you start adding weight. So that's kind of good and bad, all of it. So another good thing that I would say is that, again, it's not for everybody, but working out as a group really has its benefits. At least for me, I would see people, pushing their limits and trying to get their workout done at least as much as possible. That usually, that I mean, for me, that would encourage me to do better, because I would see somebody doing their best, and there I am trying to quit, but I see somebody doing their best, and I wanna do my best too. You have other people, motivating you, come on, you can do it. um, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing, because otherwise you'll be okay, whatever, I'm done. So in a way, that's good. It creates a sense of community, which can sometimes, that sense of community can go a little bit too far. And that leads me to the next point I want to make, that some people make fun of it. They think it's a cult. I don't think it's a cult. I would say that it has some cult-like behaviors, but it's more of a community thing that they want to create, or not so much of a cult. They encourage you to participate. They encourage you to do better. They encourage you to go every day to do your best. As far as a cult, I don't think it's a cult. They don't force you to do anything. They don't, make you feel like you should be afraid of because you're not doing anything, or because you're not trying your best. So it's not a cult. It's not a cult. Some people would say it is. Maybe some of those people who say it is a cult, maybe they're just trying to make fun of it. But it's not a cult. In my opinion, it's not a cult. Another thing that I find a little bit like a drawback, really, is the price. Um, I don't know how it works in every place, but it is pricey, and not everybody can afford that. That's one of the reasons that I stopped going. It's not the main reason that I stopped going, but it's one of the main reasons that maybe I didn't go back. That's one of the main reasons I didn't go back. Um, the reason I stopped going is because I had other health issues to take care of, and by the time those issues got resolved, I decided that I wasn't gonna go back and pay a bunch of money, and I just couldn't do it at the time. So I decided to not go back. And I don't think, like I said before, I don't think I'm going back to it. Um, Again, a lot of those workouts are just back breaking. They don't really do much for me anymore. I learned a lot, and for a fraction of the price, I can just buy some equipment and do a lot of the same exercises in a way that they're better for me, in a way that I can modify them to the point that they're better for me, instead of doing it the way they want me to do it, which could sometimes, it was just, I just can't do it that way. My bones are not, I can stretch that way, or I cannot go as, if I'm doing a squat, or if I'm doing a squat snatch, I just couldn't go down. Or so I would rather just buy the equipment and incorporate some of the workouts and modify them in a way that they work better for me. Again, CrossFit is not for everybody. Um, so, I mean, if anybody wants to go and do it and try it, I'm not discouraging anybody to do it. But just be aware that if you're gonna do it, make sure you learn the techniques first, and make sure you learn them well before you're adding weight and going crazy with it. Another reason that I stopped going was because there were, at least the box, that's what they call it, the place you go to do the CrossFit, they call it the box. Instead of the gym, they call it the box. So for those who don't know, So where I was going to, it used to be when I first started. It used to be a little bit more casual. They would push you. They were serious about it, but it used to be more casual. But then they started to take it a little bit too serious. They were doing in-house competitions, a lot of in-house competitions, and they were trying to have people to join and do the in-house competitions and all that. And it got to the point that it got a little bit annoying because I didn't go to compete. I wanted to go for myself, to feel better, to do the exercise, to work out. And I would do it for me. I didn't care for competition or any of that stuff. And it got to a point that I started to feel bad that I wasn't participating in those things. And then they started to do more intense workouts to prepare people for those competitions. I don't want to be in the competition, therefore I don't want to train for the competition. So I usually just kept going and, do it my way. Well, not my way, but to my abilities, to the point that I felt good, but I wasn't straining myself too hard to the point that I would break myself. That was not the point that I was going for. I was going for myself, not for the competition. So if that's your goal, to go to CrossFit and learn and test yourself and test your limits and compete in the CrossFit games later on, whatever it is, that's completely up to you. I'm not discouraging anybody. Just be aware that it is tough, and if you want to try it out, try it out. If not, then maybe just not for you. Like I found, it's not necessarily for me. It does, you make a lot of friends there. After the workout is over, or during the workout, everything is very, people are friendly there for the most part. I didn't find anybody to be a mean person. I was the only antisocial there, basically. I didn't talk to people that much, but that's just the way I am. I just don't go places and start talking to people. But if that's your thing, you wanna socialize, whatever, it's also a good place to socialize, especially before, after the workout. If you're on the workout, you gotta try to stick to the workout and do the best, and encourage others to do their workouts and not interrupt. So yeah, I mean, those are my thoughts on CrossFit. Uh, I again, I can totally see why people make fun of it, because some of the things they do, their sense of community can be mistaken by cult-like behaviors, or people thinking it's a cult. Those who are outside, it's not a cult. Don't be afraid to go if you want to go and try it out and see if it's for you. So with that being said, thanks for watching and listening, if you're just listening, and see you on the next video.